way for more action then. Molson Group British Sidecar Championship, final race of the year here on the Grand Prix circuit at Brands Hatch. Race 21 of 21. Teammates fighting for the 2019 title with double points on offer. Here we go then, the red light's on, last race of the season. It is the title decider, and away we go. Second place away very well there, Gary Bryan up the inside. They're almost touching as we come down to paddock, and it's Gary Bryan who leads.
And I'll tell you why that's significant, because he's in severe danger of losing fourth place. You look at the table, he's under real pressure, sitting fourth at the moment. So Gary Bryan, number 2, had to get a good start, and he did just that.
Yes, he did. He's had some great starts, actually, hasn't he, this year? Bit of contact off the line earlier in the season at Thruxton, but not this time. Side by side, panel rubbing going on there, down through Graham Hill Bend for the first time, and right behind all of that drama are the title contenders. And it's Ellis on the right, Kershaw on the left, going either side of Brian Gray as we get to Surtees.
Tommy Philp leading now. Tommy Philp and Tom Bryant, who did their spectacular run-off at Craner Curves at Donington. Tommy Philp 6th yesterday, a newcomer into the championship. What an immense talent he is. But here's the battle.
Yeah, there they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th and 6th. Chris Walker's in the mix as well, but the title contenders side by side down into the right-hander at Hawthorns on the opening lap. And Todd Ellis at the moment, who started behind Steve Kershaw, is now ahead of Steve Kershaw.
Yeah, but Kershaw's got to follow him through now. He's got to cling on to the back of Todd Ellis. It's not impossible that they could get tangled up in the traffic, but Todd Ellis, so smooth. He's 4 miles an hour down on top speed at any of the speed traps. He does it on quarter speed.
You have to say the Crows made a good start, didn't they? Ryan and Callum from their pole position, Barry, after their 10th place finish yesterday. New scenario for them, new pressure. They've dropped down to 3rd, but they're keeping Walker at bay at the moment. They're keeping the title contenders at bay. What a position to be in.
Well, debut in the Isle of Man TT. They had a 6th place in the first TT. Look at this, though. Tommy Philp and Tom Bryant. Tom Bryant, a very experienced passenger. Tommy Philp, straight up from the Bemsey Championship, and he's on it. I mean, wow. The kid is just amazing. That's
an incredible lead, isn't it? 7/10 of a second, and it's 2.2 seconds back to the Crows in 3rd place, or at least it was over the line, because Walker's now up there. And there's Kershaw. He's passed Ellis, and he's passing Lewis Blackstock as well. So Steve Kershaw means business, but of course he knows he's got to win this race, and he knows also that he needs Ellis further back in the pack. All Kershaw can do, Bazza, is win the race.
Well, and Todd Ellis will know that if he gets a top 10 finish, but Ellis now looking up the inside. Let's hope he doesn't do anything hasty here. Ryan and Callum Crowe, amazing though, in the mix of very distinguished company here, absolutely flying. Look at them holding Ellis at bay, but not for long.
Ellis almost on the grass as we come down out of Surtees to Paul Grimscroft into the right-hander at Hawthorns. Chris Walker's just gone through on Gary Bryan as well and taken 2nd place. Walker's flying. Could Walker win this sidecar race? There's Kershaw at the inside of Gary Bryan, and that's 3rd place now, like a knife through butter. Clever stuff from Kershaw. He's just following Walker through as they pass these slower runners. Gary Bryan's on the grass in the background. Ellis goes through. Blackstock's going through as well. Well, Gary Bryan using all of the racetrack and a little bit more as they came round Sheen Curve.
Well, Gary Bryan's big problem is Chris Walker. Chris Walker will take that 4th place in the championship. John Holden is very much in the mix as well for that 4th place. Double points, remind everybody, double points, and for the championship, £10,000 at the end of today.
That won't do them any harm whatsoever. Who's going to get the 10 grand then as we move into lap 3? 6 to go. That's Kershaw on the left, Walker on the right. Chris gives them racing room. Right, that's 2nd place now then for Steve Kershaw. And the leaders are 2.5 seconds up the road. Walker's now going to have to go on the defensive again. Todd Ellis right behind him.
Fastest lap by Ellis, 1:35.085. So Ellis absolutely flying. Kershaw, I beg your pardon. Kershaw's put that lap in. What did I say, Todd Ellis? He's right. I need to get my glasses changed.
Well, so do I. I probably need to get some glasses in the first place after confusing the Crows earlier on. But it's the last race of the season, Barry. I think let's let each other off on that one. There it is. Fastest lap for Kershaw and Clark. 1:35.085. What a lead, as you said before, for Philp and Bryant. That's incredible.
You're not allowed to be demob happy. You're on the fledgling stages of your career.
Well, I think touch wood. There's Lewis Blackstock, number 95. He was 5th as we started this lap. He's still 5th now. Others, of course, dropping back now. Brian's down to 6th place. John Holden's right behind Brian now. Then it's the Crows, Gray and Biggs completing the top 10.
Tommy Philp is within 0.2 of a second of the fastest lap. This is nothing short of astonishing. Coming from stock 600s, Tommy Philp, And look at what he's doing with three wheels. Absolutely made to measure. Fantastic. Leading the best in Britain. Dare I say, almost the best in the world.
And of course, that's a Brian Gray run machine as well, isn't it? He'll be delighted too, as Ellis sizes up Walker. Walker's putting up a brilliant defence here, but it's not going to last for much longer as we move into the fourth of the 8 laps. Ellis on the left, Walker on the right, and back at the front. They've closed right in now. Philp being caught by Kershaw. Ellis can see that up the road, and he wants to be in the mix as well. So, lap 4, it's Philp, Kershaw, Ellis. 1, 2, 3, and Kershaw has a look at Druids, but he's not through.
The CBR 600.
Oh, he is through. He's gone through, Barry. Sorry, Kershaw leads.
Yes, he is. Steve Kershaw, Stuart Clark then. And this will be the last British Championship race for Stuart Clark, who has basically announced his retirement. So Steve Kershaw will be looking for new ballast for next year.
So that's something that's going to keep him busy over the winter. Will he go into the winter though with an extra 10 grand? As Barry said before, £10,000, the new prize fund this year. At the moment, of course, Todd Ellis' teammate, he's doing exactly what he said yesterday in his interviews. He's sitting there in 3rd place. He may well be second soon, and he'll be more than happy with that if he can just follow Kershaw home and win the title.
We're halfway through now. Look, we're on lap 4 of 8. So, yeah, he knows what he's got to do. He won't do anything silly. With double points and that 40-point margin coming into this, Steve Kershaw will know that if Ellis is still running, then it's game over. But what a valiant defence of the title Kershaw and Clark have put up.
They certainly have. They've had a little bit of bad luck, haven't they, earlier on in the season when they lost a lot of points. Cadwell Park in particular, they had 2 non-finishes from 3 races there at the Cadwell Revival. And actually, that's where they came unstuck in 2019. But they're on the attack now, are Ellis and Richardson. This should be second place in a moment.
One of 3 Hondas in this race, Todd Ellis, and Gary Bryan's on the other one, on another one, and Rob Biggs is on the 3rd. All of those engines are prepared by Gary Bryan. And after Donington, the 3 top bikes were measured because there were 1 or 2 rumblings in the paddock that Todd Ellis might, dare I say, be breaking the rules. It was not the case. Those engines were found to be clean. I want to make that point, so it's worth making.
It's nice in some ways that there's such rivalries in the paddock, isn't it? I mean, the spirit in the sidecar paddock is tremendous, but that's nice that everyone's legal, everyone's clean. In fact, could they even catch them for the win? Would they risk passing them for victory?
Well, I don't know. He's closer to your age than mine. You will know what's going on in his head.
Well, all I know is he's got 3.5 laps to go now. The gap was 1.4 seconds. Let's see now that they're in clear air what Todd Ellis can do. He was a tenth slower than Kershaw last time round, but of course he had to pass Tommy Philp, didn't he? So I reckon they're going to be lapping quicker than Kershaw this time round. There's Blackstock 4th, Chris Walker, well, the darling of the crowd. We're in the part of the track here, of course, where he spun off to the inside and kissed the barrier at the earlier Brands Hatch meeting in the season. Martin Kirk and Shelley Smithers have just pitted, by the way. They're completely out of luck. They've had a superb season. They've been right up there in some of the races, but unreliability has really struck them again. And it looks as though the same has happened to Ricky Stevens and Ryan Charwood, who didn't even make the start.
Well, what I predicted has actually happened, because Gary Bryan has now slipped down to 8th behind Holden and Walker, so he will lose 4th place in the championship to both those guys.
Oh, and that's going to hurt as well, isn't it? They've been up there all season long. What sort of lap time did we see from Ellis? No, it was fastest lap from Kershaw. Fastest lap from Kershaw. This is the overtake for the lead at Druids. Kershaw on the left. And look, they're going to run wide on the exit. And there, it happened there. On the exit of Druids, Kershaw's managed to go through on Tommy Philp. Of course, since then, Philp's lost second place as well because Ellis has gone through.
We have to keep in perspective that this is Tommy Philp's debut season. He could not come in until the half-year point because he hadn't scored enough points to get his licence. Knock Hill, I think, was where he entered the fray, and it's just amazing. This is a kid halfway through his very first season. He's running second to the outgoing champions and the new champions, and looking every bit a professional sidecar racer. What have we got to come from this young pairing for the future?
It does make you wonder. They could have done this at Donington as well, had they not had that moment. Couldn't they on the first lap and shot off down the grass at the Craner Curves? They're winning and losing together. And yes, they've dropped back from the top 2, but relatively speaking, they're not dropping back that badly, are they, Barry?
They're not dropping back. And if you look at their lap times, they're right there in the low 33. So they are staying very much in touch. It's impressive, impressive stuff.
Well, Kershaw's just 2 laps away from what would be his 9th win of the season. Ellis is on 11, and this is a touch further back in the pack. Gary Bryan in the walls again as Rob Biggs barges through.
And those are the two Honda engines that Gary Bryan prepared.
That's the last thing you need. That could have been a very expensive moment for Gary. I think he probably thought, I'm going to get out of this. Brian Gray was just coming up behind them as well. That midfield scrap actually has been very entertaining all year long as we move into the penultimate lap.
But Ellis has not shaken off Tommy Philp.
No.
Ellis in second place has got Tommy Philp breathing right down his neck. Oh, there's a bit of a gap now, but Philp was really hanging in there, doing a great job with Lewis Blackstock then pushing along behind ahead of Chris Walker. This is a brilliant way, isn't it, on the penultimate lap to round off what's been, Greg, a fantastic season. You've enjoyed it, I know.
I think the new 600 formats work absolutely brilliantly. There were some people who criticised it initially, weren't there? They tried to equal the format and get it all in line with the World Championship, which of course is all 600s, and they've got their final round this weekend, incidentally, as well. But it's worked perfectly, hasn't it? And I'm even more excited, actually, about 2020, because I think we could have a real fight next year.
Well, with Roger Body getting involved in promoting the World Championship next year, hopefully the dates will dovetail better. The formula for the machinery is exactly the same. So technically, the opportunity is there for all of these crews to do all of the rounds in both championships. How good would that be?
And we've seen already, haven't we, countless occasions this year. Thruxton was a good example, how the British crews with no World Championship experience or very little World Championship experience have been taking on and beating riders of World Championship calibre. Of course, the Birchells have been in the field. We had Tim Reeves in the field earlier this year as well, as Steve Kershaw and Stuart Clark move into the final lap of the 2019 Molson Group British Sidecar Championship season. They're heading for victory in the race, but their teammates there, 2.5 seconds behind them on the road, are heading for the 2019 title. They've been the 600 Cup champions before, and they're about to be the overall champions, Todd Ellis and Chaz Richardson.
And I have to, immediately after this, have to whiz down and do an interview with the new champions for BSB TV, which I'm quite looking forward to, how Todd Ellis responds after, of course, his Eurosport interviews. He'll be chatting to yours truly.
What an absolute pleasure for him. Technical problem for the Clark pairing further back. They've stopped at Hawthorns here, actually, and Steve Kershaw is slowing right down. Has he spotted a yellow flag, I wonder? Because the Clark pairing is stopped. Is Kershaw slowing, or is it just because of the yellow flag? He's definitely losing pace. Oh, there's a smoke actually in the background there. I think the Clark pairing have stopped. They've either, yes, there's the smoke. That's why Steve Kershaw was slowing down. He was worried, of course, that there may have been oil, I would imagine, on the track, and took it very, very cautiously. That was a last-minute scare for Kershaw.
Craig Clark, Senior and Junior, on the city lifting bike out of the running. I just want to say that Honda of Todd Ellis's is 4 or 5 miles down on speed through every single speed track. So everything he does on corner speed and racecraft.
Steve Kershaw wins the last race of the season, but through to claim the championship in second place. Todd Ellis and Charlie Richardson, 2019 champions, and side by side over the line there. Lewis Blackstock was right with Tommy Philp, but couldn't grab the last podium. What a ride from Tommy Philp, number 52, with Tom Bryant alongside on the Brian Gray power biking machine. But let's salute Todd Ellis and Charlie Richardson. Delight all around here in the British Sidecar Championship. What a season they've had.
They've done it. And a brilliant, brilliant 6th place for Ryan and Callum Crowe. How about that? Mum's in tears, bless her heart. So,
you're right about the Crows. I mean, what a performance. They started on the reverse grid pole and they've come through and finished in that 6th place. Todd Ellis and Charlie Richardson, number 6. Looks like it's going to be number 1 for them next year as they take the 1 away from Kershaw and Clark. Steve Kershaw and Stuart Clark on their LCR Yamaha, beating Todd Ellis and Charlie Richardson on their LCR Honda, but they are in the same team. Kershaw wins the battle, Ellis wins the war and the championship. Tommy Philp and Tom Bryant, absolutely superb performance from them. They went off from the lead at Donington, they finished on the podium in this one. What's for them in 2020? Blackstock and Rosney, Holden and Kane up there. Well done to the Crow pairing from their reverse grid pole position. Ryan and Callum right up there in 6th place, and there's the rest of them. We don't know what happened to Chris Walker and Ashley Hawes. Obviously a technical problem, I would imagine, on the penultimate lap of the race. What a shame, they were up there in the top 6. And a new champion combo for the 2nd year in a row. 21 superb races, reverse grids and all. Ellis and Richardson beating Kershaw and Clark 100 points were available this weekend with the double points, and it was just 30 in the end. Exactly, funnily enough, as it was, of course, coming into the weekend. 1 win and 1 second place apiece. Blackstock grabs third, Holden is fourth, Brian is fifth, and Chris Walker's problem, whatever it was there, drops him down to seventh. Former champion Stevens and Charwood completing the top 8. But we have Edison Richardson as the 2019 champions.